Yes, welcome back, producer friends. Today I got a video about a Reese bass I made with Operator that I am giving away. Link in the description to my website where you can go ahead and give it a download. It is completely free, so if you like it, hit that link and go get that download. Here's what it sounds like. So I'll kind of go through how it's set up and a little bit of how you can use these macros to really create your own kind of sound with it. So I'll start by pulling everything down so we can really hear what it sounds like at its core. So this is basically it. It's basically just two oscillators with another oscillator on top that's providing that little bit crush kind of sound, that really high frequencies. Basically what a Reese bass is at its core is just two oscillators detuned to create phasing. The higher the detune, the faster the phasing, the faster you'll hear the cycles. So I can demonstrate that real quick by bringing this oscillator B up. And I'm not messing with an LFO there. I'm just using the detune to get it kind of an LFO sound. It would be similar to if you had an LFO on the amplitude of the synth, right? Because they're just phasing in and out, and the faster that you detune them, they're going to phase in and out faster. You could probably find a million videos on YouTube about that, so I'm not going to go too in depth about that. You can also have the amount of the detune controlled by this oscillator B level. So here, there's not going to be any detune. And as you increase the oscillator B level, they're going to be detuned against each other more. Cool. So after that, I just have a little bit of noise in here. It just adds a little bit, and it starts to really get brought out whenever you're using the amp, which comes later in the signal chain. Next, we have the first notch filter, which gives a very signature sound to neuro basses, I guess I would say, is these crazy notch filters moving all around. A lot of movement, making it sound real snaky and interesting. So this first notch filter is attached to an envelope that sweeps down when keyed. So you can hear it if I bring it up to 100%. You can hear it. It'll be more obvious when it's a little bit more distorted, but you can hear that notch filter sweeping down through. And at 0, it's not going to do anything. And at 100%, it's going to go all the way up from about 2,000 hertz down to like 400. So now we get into the amp, which gives it really a lot of body and a lot of high frequency information that really is necessary to make it sound like it's in your face and textured. Right, so that's really where the sound starts to become a little bit more aggressive. And amp at 100% is going to be just the amp, which makes it sound a bit thin and weird, but could work for maybe some intros or some things where it, doesn't need to be necessarily as aggressive. I think about 50% is nice, though, because it gives it, like I said, some body and some aggressiveness, but it doesn't sound too digital like this and too thin like this. Right, so about in the middle is good. Cabinet type just changes the cabinet type in case, the sound of one particular cabinet's not really working for you or not working in the mix or something like that. It's just really easy to go and quickly change the tone quality of the cabinet. So I'll demo those real quick. Right, so that's like kind of a taste thing. You just find something that you like. Last, it goes through another notch filter that you can change the frequency of here and the amount of here. The amount changes the amount of the LFO, which is moving just on quarter notes. You can go over here and change that if you want to dive into kind of how the patch was made. But I think quarter notes sounds good, and it's also a little bit out of phase from the left and right, so it gives it a nice stereo image and some stereo movement as well. So I'll demo that real quick. So this one's going to be a little bit more subtle, but if you have some headphones on, you can definitely notice the stereo imaging. It gets a little bit wider and a little bit more movement around there. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to keep it pretty simple as a starting point for a Reese bass. It's not bad as is, but I think it could maybe use like a phaser, some more saturation, depending on the context and stuff. You can make it sound really crazy or just even use it as is and try to experiment with it and see if you can push it to its limits really and see how crazy of sounds you can get with it. Because if you can just keep pushing a sound until you get really ridiculous and then scale it back, then you can find some kind of balance in between. And I think that balance is kind of where you start to find really cool sounds that are aggressive but not too annoying and in your face, but not, taking up too much room. So I definitely encourage you to experiment with it, add some more post-processing, see what you can get with it. I think it's a good starting point, though. Like I said, it's free at my website, whenyouKnowmusic.com. Link will be in the description if you want to go download that. Make sure you comment if you've got any other suggestions of operator stuff to make. I love making operator patches, so definitely leave me a suggestion if you have one. Also, like and subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.